Salutations, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. V back with a very different video because recently I found a game that I'm kind of getting addicted to. I'm not gonna lie. Welcome to Lines of Battle, a game where you are taking control of Napoleonic era armies. You have to outthink and outgeneral your opponent in real time through simultaneous turns. And it's a game that looks very, very simple, but the minute you start playing it, you realize just how much depth there is in this game, and it is absolutely free. It is not on Steam. You literally just have to Google Lines of Battle on your web browser, click the link, or just go to my link in the description below, and you can start playing it right now yourself. And now that I've kind of gotten my feet wet and tested the game out a little bit, I want to showcase a match on the channel for you guys. And hey, if you like it, maybe we can keep doing some battles in addition to our Age of Empires 3 content. Let me know what you think of this match below. But hey everybody, post video V here, and I am about to go on a long explanation of the game's mechanics. So if you want to know how the game works and how armies are created, stick around. But if you just want to skip to the battle, click on the timestamp on the screen right now. Thank you very much. Let me show you the main page. So again, very simple. This game is still in beta development, but they just dropped a big Valentine's Day update. Of course, you have your username, you have your profile, which you can buy avatars in the store, and you have your elo. So for AoE 3 players, the ranking system is going to be very, very familiar. Of course, you have tutorial, you have your matchmaking, you have your ranking, you have a history of your games. You can watch all of your replays. As you can see, I have had my fair share of defeats. I am still learning. I am certainly not an expert by any means. You have the store where you can buy different units and you can buy different skins as well as those profile avatars that I mentioned earlier. And then, of course, you have your army builder. Now, there are 4 different kinds of battle currently in the game, and as far as I know, it's just 1v1 right now. Though on the Discord that I just joined, I think they've already been teasing some potential team stuff. There's Clash, which is the one I'm going to be playing. It's the smallest type of battle, more of like a 10-unit skirmish. There's Combat, which is bigger. There's Battle, which is bigger. And then there's Grand Battle, which is huge. We're talking dozens and dozens of units on the field all at once. And then for each different battle type, you can go in and build your army. Currently, I only have 5 of the 9 units. Of course, you get the 3 when you get the game right away: line infantry, hussar, and the 12-pound artillery, which is your standard cannon. But I also bought guard infantry and the 4-pound horse artillery, which is faster, more mobile, but not as powerful as the big unlimbered cannons. Now, don't worry, you don't have to actually pay money. I got all this by just playing a few matches and using the fake digital in-game currency. So no worries, you don't have to go and then drop a bunch of dollars in real life to get any of these units. And these units, while they give you a nice advantage, they don't make or break the game because, of course, you have a budget of manpower and a budget of gold that every army has to stick to. So this is my default Clash army that I've been using right now. I'm still kind of testing it. I've been using no artillery armies. I've been using heavy artillery armies. I've been using heavy cav, no cav, a little cav. And this is kind of the balance I've come to. And I've realized that just like actual Napoleonic warfare, you can't just spam like in AoE 3. You got to have a nice mix of infantry, cavalry, and yes, a little bit of artillery support to really get the full package. So with all of that out of the way, there are other features, of course. There's a wiki, there's a guide. You can even make your own maps, which is cool. A lot of guys have been making historical maps on the Discord, like Bunker Hill and Gettysburg, and even ancient battles, which I don't quite get in this setting, but they have been doing it. But let's just dive into a battle here, and I can show you how the game works. So I'm just gonna hit play. I'm going to set the timer for 1 minute to 2 minutes because I like quick turns. I don't really like waiting. I'm sure if you fight the larger battles, you will need to go longer turns, especially if you get those grand battles where you're moving literally like dozens upon dozens of units. And we're going to go with the Clash, and we're going to leave it available for all maps. From what I've heard, there are going to be more maps coming, but there is a nice, healthy selection already for you. And the matchmaking has been really quick. This is not a very well-known game, but look at that. I only had to wait about 10 seconds. So I am blue. We are on a fairly hilly map with a small town on our right flank, and I am up against red. Now, red has a very standard loadout. I wonder if he's a new player, because he's got 8 line infantry, he's got 1 12-pounder, and he's got 4 light cavalry. So we'll have to see. Okay, I'm scouting the terrain. We've got a nice river choke point here. We do have the artillery advantage, but I don't want to bottle myself in. I just want to make it tough for him to approach. Now, I'm tempted to set up on this hill, but I think that will allow him to take the town. And in this game, things like forests and towns can give your units a lot of extra cover, which can allow them to do a lot better in straight-on fights as opposed to units out in the open. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to place my horse artillery here. And, oh crap, I ran out of deployment time. That's okay. I really wasn't going to move much else. So I think I know what I'm going to do here. He's deployed a very, very standard, oh wow, he's got a lot of cavalry stacked up here. Yeah, I don't really get his deployment. He's put his artillery on the hill, which is good. But I am going to set up my artillery in the woods. And so really all you got to do is you have to select a unit and then you use the move order and you drag the units with your mouse where you want them to go. And I really should have moved my artillery over. I do have my guards on my right flank, which are very good infantry. And I have cavalry support, but I think I'm going to pull the cavalry over because 1 cavalry unit will not be able to hold, whereas my guards will. And I'm going to use this cavalry to scout out the town and just establish a presence there. Because what I want to do is I want to try to draw my opponent to either cross the creek or bottle himself up in this choke point coming after me. I do have the artillery advantage, even though my artillery is weaker. So I will be able to draw him in. Now, I do have a lot of units out in the open here, which I don't like, because his 12-pounder does outrange my artillery, and he'll just be able to wail on me to no avail. So I'm definitely going to, as quickly as possible, I'm going to pull my units into the town, and I'm going to be a little bit more detailed with how I direct these guys. You can kind of just go general purpose, all-in orders, or you can do like I'm doing here and be a little bit more finicky with everything. But by the time I move all my units here, I should give them a decent amount of hill cover, though I am a little bit worried. I am kind of leaving some of my guard exposed, though I am going to try to use the tree line here. I've got my cavalry behind the woods, and I've got this guy taking the town, though I'll probably end up pulling him back eventually. And I think for my artillery, I'm just going to leave them deployed as is, because I really do think... I don't know the elo of this player. Yeah, okay, so this guy seems very, very new, because every player starts with 1200 elo. So I almost wonder if he is going to just kind of charge in recklessly and just go for a frontal assault, which in that case, my guard units will be able to do a ton of work. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start setting up my line in the woods, which is going to, I mean, it's not going to make his artillery completely useless, but it is going to take a lot of the power out of their shots. And I'm just going to keep my cavalry here. I'm even going to move it up a little bit. I want to lure him in. I want to draw him in to the engagement of my choosing, which means I want him to come into these woods. So I think I'm even going to, no, I'm going to leave my artillery there, because I really am convinced that he is going to come and fight me on my ground. His really only big advantage at this point is his superior range in his artillery. But again, once my horse carriages get into range, I should be able to win that fight. Now, I've got some guards here that are now covered in the woods. I'm even going to move that one into the woods as well. That guy's not going to be as well covered, but these guys are going to be in the safety of the town. And I'm going to use, and there are different orders in this game. I should have mentioned that. There's the move order, there's the seek, the fire in advance, and the retreat order. I'm going to use a retreat order because the thing I've learned in this game, and it's come through a lot of trial and error, is that you never want to turn your back, especially to artillery fire. So I make sure to never, selected too many of my units there. I want to make sure to never give my opponent a chance to shoot at the rear, because you're just giving your opponent free hits at that point. So still not in range of my horse artillery, but I think he will bring himself into range eventually. And, oh, okay, so he's bringing his horse artillery around. I think he's trying to come in and maybe, yeah, okay. I think he just wants to assault my, my artillery. And I think he thinks I'm going to let that happen, which I am most certainly not. So let's move that artillery over. I think this hill advantage, I initially wanted to use the cover, but I don't think that's going to work as well as I hoped it would. So we're going to claim this river crossing, make sure that he can't take it. And we're going to pull this infantry back just in case he tries to come in this way with his cavalry. And I've got cavalry that's not really doing much on their own, but I think that's okay. In fact, I think I'm actually going to pull them back out of the town. And I'm just going to, I don't really want to engage his cav, but I do want to present an engagement so that he just doesn't feel free to run all over my flank. Again, guys, this is not a game I'm an expert in anyways, but look at that. Look at how little my morale is affected now that I'm in the trees. And guard units already have very good morale. Oh, we got one unit out of line here. One thing I definitely will tell you is that in this game, holding formations and keeping your men in line is critical. If you get your guys out of formation and you try to Rambo units in, you will face a lot of pain very quickly. All right, so the artillery almost in place. I think I'm going to move this unit here. Actually, no, let's withdraw him a little bit, keep some reserves, and we're going to have artillery in a really nice spot. We're going to have them almost kind of both covered by those two small villages, which is going to make it very easy for us to not get them attacked by the enemy artillery. Okay, so smart move by my opponent here. He's actually now, he realizes that the cover is not working very well, so he's going to start firing at this guy who is not as shielded, but that's okay, because I'll just pull this guy into the woods. He's still in my reserve. He'll still be able to respond quickly, and I'm definitely going to start offering a cavalry engagement. I want to see if he'll come out and he'll fight me, because I have immediate reinforcements in range. He does not. He has separated his cavalry out, and the thing that I'm really starting to lick my lips at is that while I can't shoot him right now with all of my artillery, I can start with this gun, and this is a problem. When you start clumping up units like that, every star is a unit that I will hit with my artillery. They're out in the open. They're even sort of turning their flank to me, so that is definitely going to work in my favor. Though I do have one gun that is not in the best position, so with the time we have left, let's just switch these guys around and submit our orders, and let's see what our opponent does in response. All right, so, I mean, he just seems very satisfied to wail on me with his guns, which, I mean, I'm not super worried about, because his guns, realistically, are not doing the most amount of damage. But he definitely is not being as forward as I thought he would be. And so I almost wonder if I should move further in and take more of the town. I think that is wise. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move my guards in, continue to use cover, and see what he does with his cavalry. I'm just going to continue to screen with those guys. And I think a movement across the creek is going to allow me to take this hill on my left flank and get myself a little bit more of a clearing for my artillery, which I'm going to use the road here to increase their movement speed. Yeah, okay, perfect. This creek does slow down my men somewhat, but not as much as these big rivers. You really don't want to cross these because it will make your units incredibly slow. All right, continuing to shoot at me, which I don't love. He's kind of just sitting back and allowing me to dictate the battle, which, I mean, he has the artillery advantage at this point, so I don't blame him for. But it is allowing me to take very, very favorable ground. And so, yes, while I am suffering losses, once the engagement does take place, I'll be, I think, in a pretty good position. But, of course, I don't know that for sure. Okay, we're going to be more aggressive. We're going to charge our cavalry across the creek because he does not seem to want to cross with his own. And we're going to make sure that our artillery have infantry support, We do have some guys out in the open, which I don't love, but we have this nice guard securing our left flank. And so let's see how he responds. I think he's just going to keep shooting me on the hill, which is not the most honorable, but what are you going to do? He's got a nice position. He's got good terrain. He's got the range advantage, so, I mean, I can't really fault him for doing that. But, again, all of the initiative is slowly swinging into my favor, and I'm just going to continue to move, continue to move, continue to move. And I honestly am not super worried at this point, though. I have been taking, a decent amount of shots from that artillery. It's not great. I think he's going to continue to just harass me with his big guns. So, what do we do? Let's pull this guy into the trees. Cool. And let's get that guy into the trees as well, just for cover. Cannons, artillery. Do we have any great targets? No, we do not at the moment. So let's pull these guys forward and pull these guys forward as well. Yeah, let's just continue to push and see how much of the battlefield he's going to give me. Because I get the feeling he is just going to keep retreating. And, I mean, that's fine with me. Because now I have the artillery advantage. And because he's allowed me to come so close, his range advantage has kind of been negated. So I will sit here in cover, and I will just continue to lambast him. And meanwhile, you can see that while my men are out in the open, they also have the cover of this hill. So his artillery, yeah, they'll be able to keep shooting, but they won't be able to do significant amounts of damage. So I'm going to continue pulling my cavalry in, and I'm just kind of moving them from woods to woods just to try to save as much of their HP as possible. All right, so we are now in position. We should now be able to shoot, and we'll see what we do from here. All right. What are you going to do, buddy? What are you going to do? You going to fire at me? You're not going to fire at me? All right. Okay. So we finally see some movement. So he's going for what looks to be a mass cavalry charge, which I don't hate that. But is he going to be able to catch my cavalry is the answer. And is he going to charge his artillery forward as well? He certainly could, and I think he might. But I don't know. I mean, I'm tempted. Do I pull up and take this hill, or do I not? I think we're going to give it one more turn. I think we'll not take this hill, and we'll see what he does with his next turn. But we're definitely going to secure our left flank. We're going to pull our cavalry inwards, and we're just going to, we have a really nice position here. We have the hill covering our left, we have the town covering our right, and we have the river anchoring our flanks. So I'm not worried yet. And now that my artillery is in position, we should be able to do some nice damage. Okay, he might catch that cavalry, which would not be great. So let's bring, I don't know. I don't know if he'll be able to catch it that turn. We want our cavalry to face him, and we'll bring infantry up to meet him as well. We'll bring this guy up a little bit forward so he can start shooting that incoming infantry, and our cannons will just continue to do what they do. And look at that. They're doing really nice damage. Even though those guys are covered in the trees, because they're so clumped up, they're not maybe doing as much work as he hoped they would. Now, I'm a little bit nervous pulling this much infantry because he could go for a frontal charge, but I do have the creek, which is going to slow him down, so I would probably have some time to react to that. So we'll see if my cavalry gets caught. If it does, not the end of the world, but I certainly don't want it to get caught without getting a proper engagement. So let's take a look. Cavalry. Oh, okay. So cavalry is going to get away, and he has a nice little gap. He could go for my artillery, but I certainly don't think we're going to give him that chance. We will position this guy on the hill, and we will engage his cavalry here. We'll engage his cavalry here. And what else will he do? Okay, so he's moving the infantry forward. Luckily for me, he is moving it right into the range of my canister, and we'll position a little bit of our guards here. And we'll kind of make a swerving movement. I'm a bit stretched, I must say, but at the same time, so is my opponent. So I'm not worried just yet. I'm actually going to try to get that unit to just seek that cavalry and see if he can catch him, because I think he might be trying to skirt this gap, which is not a bad idea by him, but I don't think he'll be able to thread that needle in time. So let's take a look. Okay. Oh, nice. Okay. So he goes for, actually, he turns his cavalry and assaults my infantry. The problem with that is that my infantry are guarded by the woods, so he's not going to get the engagement that he's probably looking for there. So I'm going to withdraw this infantry, and I'm going to just keep firing. And he's actually now definitely in range of my canister, or at least he's about to walk in range of it. So his units are about to take a beating. And we'll see what he does with that. Now, we're going to assume this hill advantage. I want to make sure that we have that because we want that cover as much as possible. Now, this swirling engagement is not bad for him, but it's not great because, again, I have more local support. I have inner lines, and he does not. So here comes the big decisive battle. It's really starting to get nice and close. Let's take a look. I don't know. It's, oh, goodness gracious. Oh, man, I tried to take a screenshot, and that did not end well. All right, so let's see what we got. Ooh, okay. I mean, we're winning here. Potential flanking maneuver there. So let's move this guy up. I mean, am I worried about this infantry charging forward? Not really. But do I withdraw the guard? I don't think I do. I think I simply turn him this way. No, actually, maybe I don't. Yeah, I think we just fire on this flank. He might be able to surround my men, but I think I'll win this engagement in time to swing around, and I'll be able to fall on that flank. So he will be able to get the initial flank, but I think it'll end up in my favor. Oh, okay. So he's pulled some cavalry back, which is good for him, but it does mean that he has he's allowed his men to get sort of surrounded there. I'm winning an engagement here. I'm winning an engagement here. My guards are holding out very well. The only problem is I could suffer some losses with my artillery. I don't know. He's kind of put me in a bit of a pickle, but I think we'll be able to withdraw this artillery, and we'll still be able to do some damage to him. This line is holding decently well, and we'll just continue firing at him. Remember, these guys are just regular line infantry, so they're not quite as powerful as my guards. So I'm relying on the superiority of my men to overcome the numbers of the enemy. And yeah, look at that. So he did get some initial damage on my cavalry, or on my artillery, but it is going to cost him this cav as I have him fully enveloped. And we're just going to lay waste into these guys, and we are safe to now charge in the guard, as well as this line infantry can shoot. This guard, oh, perfect. Okay, so perfect timing here. My guard can now secure this flank, while this guy's actually turned his rear to me, which means I'm winning probably more than I should. This cavalry will charge this infantry. This infantry might break. You can notice that these guys aren't dead. They're only broken, and they can return. But as long as we win the battle before they regain their courage, we should be all right. So this unit is charging my artillery, but he's about to get wasted by canister, so I'm not overly concerned. As long as my line in the woods holds. That is kind of the big condition. All right, so I have officially won this battle on the upper flank, and now we can really start bringing in the reinforcements. This cavalry is going to immediately charge. This infantry, I'm not going to get engaged right away because they are sort of wavering. This infantry will immediately take the town. This cavalry I actually think will send this way, and this guard unit will shore up this flank as well. And now, once again, my artillery can just lay waste to this unit, and this guy can fire on that unit, which is in the open. And I like where we're sitting. You can actually check the stats. Right now, he suffered 850 losses. I've only suffered 700, and the victory points are slightly in my favor. So we're doing okay. We're doing okay. All right. Next fight. All right. Okay, good. So we have driven every unit from my rear, though we did lose a guard in the process, which losing a guard unit is never good. We have reserves, which we can use to shore up this gap. This guard unit will win its engagement. And now the good news is because he invested so much cavalry in the beginning, we're able to use the mobility of our cavalry to really start putting some pressure on him. So I'm going to use this cav to perform a flanking maneuver while it stays pinned by the guard, while this one goes and takes care of his artillery. Meanwhile, we do this, and that. We don't really want to shoot into the backs of our guard because we'll just do more damage to ourselves than him. And as long as we win this engagement in the center, I am feeling very good about our chances. And look at that, he withdrew. So we were able to win the battle with only 982 casualties to his 978. So we did lose more men, but I mean, if that battle had continued, his losses really would have mounted. This unit would have broken, and this unit would have broken, and we just would have been able to use our cavalry to do flank charges, hammer and anvil stuff, and it would have gotten ugly very, very quickly. But that is the battle, guys. Lines of Battle, go check it out. It really is fun. I have been enjoying it a lot, and I hope you guys enjoyed this little showcase. If you are somebody from the Lines of Battle community and you wonder what else I do on this channel, check out my Age of Empires stuff. It's also a great RTS, and I think you might enjoy it. It's set in the same era. It's just a bit of a different flavor. But guys, I will see you with more of the regular content next week. Until then, have a great day, have a great life. See you later.